Nick Elliott writes in.
What does he say?
Boys!
Fuck, that was aggressive.
I was listening to your last podcast about how England's spinners are too symmetrical for their own good, and it got me thinking, what can we, and by we, I mean every nation that isn't India, do to combat the Asian century? Ashwin has been playing Test cricket for 10 years, and still nobody of a Western persuasion has any fucking idea what he's really doing. Meanwhile, England and Australia are happy with copy and paste textbook spinners, most of whom look like the kind of blokes who ask for a top of lemonade in their lager to take the edge off. Warne is excluded because he's a once-in-a-millennium case, but even successful bowlers Nathan Lyon and Graham Swan did do with inherently understandable processes. When I watch their highlights, I can see exactly what's happening. But if someone were to send me a link to a montage of Ashwin's best wickets, I wouldn't last 2 minutes before I shut down my laptop and switched off the electricity to the whole house in a state of confusion. During the English summer, Sky Sports asked parents to send videos of their kids practicing in the nets so the regular commentators could give technical feedback live on air. It made for wholesome viewing. Even Shane Warne and Stuart Broad got involved. But how the fuck is a little 8-year-old from the home counties repeatedly tickling plastic stumps placed 10 yards away with looping full tosses going to survive once the Asian century is in full swing? Even if that kid goes on to average 32 for Essex and gets called up for a test in Chennai in 2034, his existence will be rendered instantly meaningless when a descendant of MS Dhoni carts him for 24 runs in an over before lunch on day one. It's clear by now that exposure to Western constrictions at a young age reduces the chances of bowling like Ashwin, Murali, etc. to absolute zero. So instead of Michael Atherton offering false encouragement with platitudes such as keep that leading arm high and accelerate through the crease, shouldn't we be encouraging young spinners to smash their own fingers with hammers in hope that their bones might heal in such a manner that allows them to bowl a delivery that looks vaguely illegal? Shouldn't we be dislocating wrists and separating shoulders in search of freakish physiological advantages? If we're going to compete with India in the future, we need to produce a legion of spinners who defy biology. We need a few blokes who are regularly summoned to an ICC testing centre to examine the legality of their actions. The Anglo-spheric coaching manual gave us a decent couple of 100 years, but it's become obsolete. We need to meddle in some sacrificial stuff. What I'm asking is the Asian century inevitable, and would I be better off making my peace with it now? Or do you think I'm onto something with the hammers and shit? Cheers, Nick.
That last sentence is fucking perfect. Do you think I'm onto something with the hammers and shit? Cheers, Nick. I love the idea of watching a YouTube compilation of Ashwin's best wickets set to some fucking weird EDM. And him being so confused, he'd be like, just fucking ripping sockets out the wall. Yeah. That's great. But yeah, he needs to come to peace with it. Absolutely. He needs to come to peace with it. The Asian century is here. And I also completely agree that we can't keep finding these guys who are like made in test tubes and just follow biology as we understand it. Charles Darwin's dead, bitch.
Yeah. And
we're going to find some new shit.
So is Bradman's Art of Cricket. Is dead. I want to be really clear about this as well. Like,
be really clear with it.
Well, there might be a suggestion if you want to read it a certain way that like that the Anglosphere needs to become weird or dysmorphed or something like the Asian century, which could be read the wrong way. No one has a right to think that they're not weird in cricket. I mean, following cricket
the game
is fucking weird.
Yeah,
you know, like it's our problem that we think the way Ashwin bowls is weird, or that the way the ball moves over there is weird. That's a result of our own conventions and our own conditioning. So I'm not saying that you got to get a hammer out and smash kids' fingers. Like, I'm not going to do that to my own sons. I'm not going to smash their fingers with hammers, okay? But there's going to be a broader scope of how you teach them to bowl a ball, to deliver it, you know, because getting through the crease and getting that leading arm high, they ain't doing shit in India, and we're playing there for the next 300 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's got to be different ways of doing it, different ways of skinning that cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's onto something with the hammers and shit as a concept.
I like the idea that, like, didn't Murali have a defect in his elbow where he couldn't actually fully
yeah, I'm not sure.
Extend it. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
I don't know what the specifics were.
And you see, like, Bumrah has got a wanger arm when he releases it. You see on the side-on angle with the front foot line that he like hyperextends his forearm.
Yeah.
So like that's the kind of genetic manipulation that I'm looking to do.
Well, or we need to reconstruct what our notion of, like, because we talk about worldies at the SCG sitting next to Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, or whatever. They're too big. They're too big. It's Monstars. It's too big. But maybe it's more like we need to reprogram our brains as to what it means to be like a genetically predisposed to succeed in cricket. It's more of that sort of stuff. It's more of the Boomerang stuff or the Murali stuff or whatever. Not just having big shoulders.
Yeah.
Not just being massive.
Yeah.
Or big. I don't know.
Though that does help.
Oh, it always helps, but that just helps more sort of socially.
That's what I mean, socially.
That sort of stuff. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think there's plenty in it. I think that's the way it's got to go. I think playing weird is good. Weird is good.